Alright, so for my independent work, I'm going to be doing a video about Henri Matisse. I'm doing this because I remember I saw in our first unit, we looked at some of his work, and I thought it was really interesting, and we had to do some research on him. I thought he had a very interesting life, and all of his paintings were really good, so I just wanted to do a video about him to learn more and to teach more people about Henri Matisse. Henri Matisse was born in northern France as the oldest child to a prosperous grain merchant. He grew up in France where he ended up taking a liking of paint. Following an attack from appendicitis, he was very sad. He was a shut-in. He couldn't do very much with his friends outside, so he had to find something to do, and he found closure in painting, and that's why he developed such a passion for it. In his young life, he drew 3 paintings: Blue Pot and Lemon, Fruit and Coffee Pot, and Vase of Sunflowers. They were all made at a young age. Early in the 1900s, a movement and style called Fauvism very much took over. It was led by a loose group of early 20th century modern artists, including Matisse, whose work emphasized painterly qualities and strong color over the representational or realistic values retained by Impressionism, which is another style that Matisse loved to use. Unbelievably, in just the first decade of the 1900s, Matisse painted over 30 Fauvism paintings. His best include Luxembourg Gardens, Dishes and Fruit, and a Glimpse of Notre Dame. One interesting side theme here is that Henri Matisse met Pablo Picasso, another famous artist, at a young age, and they became lifelong friends and also painting rivals. They became two of the greatest painters of France and of the world. In the next decade in France, in between 1910 and 1920, Matisse actually opened his own school called Académie Matisse that was very successful with art prodigies. He also had many great works that included Still Life with Geraniums, La Tiere Rouge, and The Conversation. When Matisse was older, he located down by the French Riviera, and now with his old age, more wiseness came, and he started drawing much calmer paintings. One of his most famous from this time is Odalisque with Arm Raised. Other than this, Matisse had many great paintings from this period. In between 1941 and 1947, Matisse went under a surgery which made him crippled, meaning he had to use a wheelchair. He was cared for by a beautiful Russian woman who used to be one of his models. At this time, there are also various wars happening, so the majority of his paintings were about those two topics, his Russian model and the wars. One of his best paintings from this era was Beautiful Russian Lady. During this time, Matisse had a very sad period where one of his prodigies, Rudolf Levy, was killed at an Auschwitz camp. For him, the painting was a way to get the emotions about his wife of 39 years leaving him, the wars going on, and the death of his own prodigy. It helped him very much through this tough time, and it made him a better person because of it, and a better artist. As Matisse got older, he started doing more stained glass windows, which he did for churches and buildings. His very final piece of work, according to David Rockefeller, was a stained glass window installed in the Union Church of Pocantico Hills. Matisse also opened a museum dedicated to his work called Matisse Museum in Le Cateau, which is still open today. Eventually, in 1954, Matisse's health problems finally caught up with him as he died of a heart attack at the age of 84. No matter in which way he went or any controversy in his life, he will forever be known as one of the greatest painters of all time. I wanted to do this about Henri Matisse because I love his art so much. He's one of my favorite artists ever. He had so much diversity. Whether it was windows, paintings, or drawings, he was great at it. I hope you enjoyed watching my independent work video about Henri Matisse, and thanks for listening. The end.